I don't even remember the last time that I casted a Zerg versus Zerg for my YouTube channel. I was just looking at my StarCraft 2 casts playlist, basically the playlist where I throw all of the games into that I've been covering on the channel. There's loads of videos to watch, by the way, in case you're unfamiliar. I'll go ahead and post a link to it down below in case you want to watch some other games of StarCraft as well. But I couldn't even find the most recent Zerg vs. Zerg that I've casted. And I think there's a simple reason for that. While Zerg vs. Zerg certainly has the potential to be amazing, it's a very explosive matchup, right? The margin for error is extremely small. So usually there's multiple phases to the matchup, but it all starts with Zerglings and Banelings. And as you probably know, Zerglings and Banelings, especially on creep, it's very quick, and if you make one little mistake, it can just be game over right then and there. And even at the pro level, that happens all the time. Of course, we see a lot of cheese as well. We see a lot of players getting very, very aggressive in the earlier stages of the match. And, well, usually, I mean, even a game going past, like, the 10-minute mark is already relatively unusual. So if you've seen, like, one Zerg versus Zerg, you've probably seen most of them. And while there is a lot of potential when players are very good for this matchup to be amazing, it doesn't happen all of the time. Anyways, this particular game was played over the last weekend, so if you're watching this on the Monday that this video goes up, it's from the Champions Brawl, which just wrapped up last night. If I understand correctly, it was a 6-man tournament, where in the group stage of the tournament, which is what this particular game is from as well, it was a round-robin play, meaning that everyone played a best-of-1 against everyone else. So, the invites, by the way, for this event were Clem, Bjorn, Trap, Serral, Reynor, and Zest. Ridiculous list of players. I'm definitely going to go ahead and cover some more of these games over the next couple of days as well. I'll go ahead and actually post a link to Katz's live stream as well down below in the description of this video, because I believe he pretty much organized this whole thing. Anyways, before I blabber onwards, let's get started like we always do by introducing the players, because spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha and playing with the red Zerg drones from Finland, we have Serral. And his opponent, the world champion of StarCraft 2 with the blue Zerg drones from Italy, he goes by the name of Reynor. So, the two highest ranked Zerg players in the world going up against each other. I haven't seen this game yet, but I think that we should be in for a treat, right? Both of these guys ridiculously good. And, I mean, if anyone can make an awesome game of Zerg versus Zerg happen, if any two players, I guess, can, it's these two. Obviously, they're not playing for style points, though. They don't really give, you know, they don't really... I can't say that on YouTube, but they don't really care, let's leave it at that, at giving us an amazing game that much. Their main interest is winning, obviously, but obviously if you're very closely in skill, or you're very close in skill, rather, it's much more likely to get an awesome game going. Anyways, I haven't seen this particular game yet. I actually have this weird thing with the online tournaments in general, where if I know that they might very well release the replay pack, I kind of don't want to watch the event because I want to cast some of the games myself as well. There's this weird dynamic, man. As a fan of StarCraft, I love watching games, and I would watch these all day, every day. But as someone who I guess now casts StarCraft games for a living, which is still a little bit weird for me to say. Yeah, I don't know. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with watching these games online. Either way, let us see exactly what both players are going for. So far, you can see by the production tab as well that this is pretty much identical. Look at the Evo chamber timings. Yep. You see him pop up right there on the production tab. It's kind of funny how in sync both of these players are. Now, here is a deviation, though. Serral going for a very quick Roach Warren. Generally speaking, this Roach Warren doesn't go up until like 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds after this point. So Serral going for his a little bit sooner certainly means, I think, that he wants to play a little bit more aggressively. Drones have already been put back into the gas geyser, whereas on the other side of the map, Reynor is going for a very, very quick lair. We'll see what he decides to start up there in the Evo chamber in just a sec. If it's going to be +1 melee, I think he's probably anticipating to transition towards Mutalisks, which, yeah, certainly has a lot of potential. I think he has to, right? There's a second gas starting up as well. Yeah, there's still no Roach Warren. Pretty sure that this is gonna... There it is. Okay, this is gonna be some Muta play right here from Reynor. Okay, cool. So let's see what ends up going down, though, because already a lot of roaches right now are being produced by Serral. Serral, I think, just checked as well over at the third base of his opponent to make sure exactly what's going on. Additional gases will be acquired here by the Italian Zerg, and there's finally the Roach Warren. Usually the Roach Warren is quite efficient when it comes to defending against this kind of shenanigans, but that Roach Warren is very late. There's absolutely no way that he's going to be able to get roaches done by the time that these units get across the map. Spinecrawler startup in the natural pretty much right away here for Reynor, and he's even evacuating the third base apparently. Okay, Brenda over there decided to get a little bit adventurous. She got surrounded right away. Good Baneling connection there, though. But apparently Serral is ready to see if he can potentially end this game right here, right now. That's a lot of units right now, knocking at the front door of Reynor. Reynor currently sitting at 47 drones. Serral's not even going to bother apparently killing the third base right now. All he's really concerned with right now is trying to see if he can break the natural expansion. Roach warning goes down. There's a couple of roaches coming up here defensively. Ooh, Banelings actually get a pretty decent detonation there. Important for Reynor to keep those spine crawlers alive. That being said, there's a lot more Banelings coming where they previously came from, and I think that means that, yeah, okay, the drones indeed will be picked up, and most of the spines are gone right now as well. Is Serral gonna just be able to break through this and obtain the victory right here, right now? I mean, he certainly wants to. There's a lot of Zerglings coming up. He did not finish up the +1 melee upgrade, but Zerglings obviously are still pretty good when it comes to surrounding this kind of shenanigans. Serral just wants to continue flooding this. Anyways, Spire was produced during all of this, so the Spire at the very least is gonna make this defense a little bit easier. I think eventually Reynor should be able to hold on, but he already lost a ton of units. I mean, he needs a bunch of mutas, right? And saving up units at this point is not really a very good option. Both players already droning again, though. So Serral right now adding on 9 of those bad boys, and I actually really like that move. Super high-level move, actually, to be making drones in this kind of shenanigans. Or during this kind of shenanigans. And in the chaos, apparently, he also split off a couple of Zerglings to try and see if he could morph them into Banelings inside of his opponent's main base, but it's not gonna happen. Yeah, so at this point, obviously, I mean, I'm impressed Reynor managed to sneak out any drones here. But at this point, he doesn't really have that luxury just yet. So Serral went ahead, is trying to get even more ahead. I'm assuming he did see the Spire. He sure did. So he knows that mutas are going to be coming up. But if he can kill the third base here, that would be so nice. Oh my god, he's going to try and get it, and I think he will, yep. So now all of a sudden, big picture. Beautiful push right there from Serral. Serral is sitting essentially at full 3-base shenanigans, or eco, rather, not shenanigans. I've used the word shenanigans like 7 times already here. But he's got himself a whole lot of queens as well, so they're going to be able to use their transfuse shenanigans. There you go, once more. Just to get it out of my system, you know. He's going to be able to get the spore crawlers up. He's going to have roaches to defend against any potential Zergling run-bys. Third base will be reacquired. I love this little move here from Serral. It's very likely here that the blue Zerg player would send all of their units across the map, but yeah, the mutas are just being deflected right away. They're going to be able to get a couple of overlords, which I guess is nice. That's not really what you're looking for at this stage in the game. +1 melee starts up again. Okay, so Reynor is going to double down on this. I think his best chance is probably to try and get a whole lot of mutas out, because even when you're ahead, right, in Zerg versus Zerg, it's very difficult to push out against someone who is going for the muta army when you're going for something that's based around the ground. Apparently the way that Serral wants to get across is by using a Nidus network. Okay, I like it. It's gonna be difficult though. Yeah, look at the spread right here on the minimap, right? Look at the spread here by Reynor. He does not want to have any overlords or any overseers or any Zerglings sneaking through the cracks. He wants to keep track of everything that's going on here. Look at him hunting. This is actually kind of crazy. We never really see this, but he's got separate mutas going around the map just to make 100% sure that nothing's gonna slip through the cracks. Well, the question is, will this Overseer be able to? At the same time, there's a couple of Banelings right here from Reynor, looking for a lucky connection, but it's not gonna happen, of course. Serral, way too good at this. And I love this. Look at this. Hey, beautiful little move. Right now, okay, the Zergling on the left also provided vision here for the Nidus Worm to come up, but this one will be killed pretty much right away. This is potentially going to create an awkward scenario, though. Yeah, where there's a lot of roaches out, there's a lot of queens out, but the queens aren't able to go anywhere. Look at this. Even the Overseer over here will be killed. Roaches now in the center of the map. Okay, they provide vision for a Nidus Worm to go somewhere in the middle of the map, but at this point I feel like you could have just moved the freaking queens across by themselves, because this is so far back that the queens could have arrived here much sooner. That being said, they are going to be able to pop out of the Nidus Worm. There we go. So at least there's a staging ground right now for Serral. Yeah, he even decides to pop them back in. Does he still have any vision somewhere? I don't think so. Spine crawlers are coming up, though, for Reynor. He's feeling the pressure right now. Still adding on more and more eco. Okay. That roach over here will be killed. Nice little move right there by Serral, popping it between the mineral patches to try and maximize the amount of damage that one roach can do. But I actually kind of think that this was a very dicey scenario here. I think a weaker player would have already lost, but Reynor shows us the way it's supposed to be done. To split up your units everywhere and just have full minimap vision, guys. It's basically what you need to do. pretty easy. He has deflected the Nidus Worm shenanigans, and apparently that now kind of forces Serral to go into a hive and then also tunneling claws on the roaches. Now at this point though, the muta count is quite high. 23 mutas. Yeah, we're getting to the point where the queens can be one-shot. So transfuse energy is not even that helpful anymore. Couple of infestors are coming up here for Serral, which I like a lot. Fungal growth, obviously, very, very nice when it comes to stopping these mutas. And he's also going up towards a hive. I think the hive is primarily to get Vipers out. So Vipers have a skill, of course, called Parasitic Bomb that deals 120 damage to area units in an area of effect. And mutas just so happen to have 120 life. Now, they do regenerate life pretty slowly as well, so one Parasitic Bomb is not going to be enough, but there's no denying that it's pretty good. It's going to be pretty good when it comes to dealing with the Mutalisks. Alright, once again, we have a Nidus Worm going up, and this one is not spotted. Overseer here on the corner of the main base as well. Obviously, at this point, Reynor does hear the scream. What is his follow-up, by the way, going to be? I think he's just going to go, yeah, Mutaling Bane. So he's got lots of static defense here. I think just Mutaling Bane is what he's aiming for here. Well, the Tunneling Claws get spotted here as well. So detection is super critical at this point for Reynor. If the roaches can tunnel on the ground and all of a sudden pop up in a mineral line, that can be a disaster too. But you can see both of these players are so good. Like, I'm trying to describe all of the different ways in which they can die, but they haven't yet. Right? It's so easy to accidentally lose on both sides here, if you're not paying very close attention. Well, this is a little bit awkward. Serral just barely doesn't have vision of it, but I don't think that Reynor is really going to be able to get anything done here. Nidus Worm goes up inside of the main base. Mutas immediately flippy-flap on over in that direction. Vipers coming up, Infestors are out, and Lurker then also as a follow-up here in general. So the ultimate unit composition for Zerg versus Zerg is Hydra, Lurker, Viper. Hydra, Lurker, Viper deals with everything. Whoa, really? Is he just gonna commit here? Oh my god, he is! The drones, though, have already been pulled. Very high-level move, but there's enough to just kill the freaking hatch. Really? That's not a planetary fortress, mate. Is that a good move? I mean, it's kind of putting a timer right here on Serral, I suppose. I mean, he didn't lose the drones. Imagine if he lost the drones there as well. That could have been an absolute disaster. Keep in mind that the Zerglings in blue are significantly more powerful than the ones in red. They just simply deal more damage. Which, yeah, you can notice right there. They will kill stuff real fast. Parasitic Bomb, okay, used right there on the one Mutalisk. He's going to have to pick that one out of the pack, and he will. Or out of the pack, out of the swarm. Anyways, here's the real scary threat, though. All Zerg spellcasters. 4th base will be the Knight, so this is now for all intents and purposes an all-in right now for Serral. I mean, he's got some eco, but really not that much. But this is all 3 Zerg spellcasters ready to go. The Queens, though, okay, they're trailing behind a little bit. Vipers and Infestors were joining the Roaches up front, so that means that a lot of these units will end up going down. There's the Parasitic Bomb, though, and there's the Fungal Growth. Massive engagement right here for Serral regardless, and that means that most of those mutas, maybe even all of the mutas, really? Oh my god, well, almost all of the mutas will be killed. At the same time, a lot of the Zerglings apparently ran across the map, and they killed 14 drones here as well. Reynor is taking a lot of damage at home, but he's also dealing a lot of damage. Only 45 drones remain right now for the finisher. Only a handful of queens here remain as well. I mean, the mutas regenerate life very, very quickly. There's really not that much anti-air available. Vipers are gone. This Infestor made a little jump for it. I don't really know exactly how that happened, but he's gonna be able to now, I think, defend this once again, right? I mean, there are... Oh, okay, there's not enough mutas anymore to one-shot the queens. Queens have transfusion energies, so they're gonna be able to keep each other alive for at least a little while longer. Alright. Well, the Roaches now have run by this, so even though Reynor probably would have liked to continue that fight for a little bit longer, he's going to be forced to now use the mutas here to try and clean up the Roaches. Queens, in the meantime, are just standing over here on the edge. I guess the spine crawlers from the Natural have unburrowed, and they're moving forward. 27 drones end up going down. These Roaches, they can try and run, but there is an Overseer with this army, so even, you know, if they tunnel on the ground, it's not going to be quite enough. The Queens over here will end up getting picked up as well. Reynor still making the best of this entirely crazy situation. Here come the Vipers once again. This time around, they're joined, okay, by a couple of Hydralisks as well. Great split right there, though, by the Italian Stallion. He's going to be able to, at the very least, keep these mutas alive for a while longer. And when it's just Hydras, right? You don't really want to be fighting Spine Crawlers, because Spine Crawlers absolutely destroy Hydras. So once again, apparently, Serral has decided to go back. High-level Zerg versus Zerg is a treat. It's just that they don't happen that often. It's pretty nuts. All right. Well, the mutas are still available. Man, I thought all the mutas would have been dead by now, but the fact that there's still so many is kind of crazy. Here come parasitic bombs once again on the mutas. Can he split them up in time? Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard to do. Well, most of them will stay alive. So mutas have a thing called rapid regeneration. And by the way, Roach is here in the top left. But it's called rapid regeneration. And basically it means that as long as they live, they'll be able to regen life very quickly. So look at these red HP mutas. They're going to be full HP again pretty quickly. It only takes like a minute or two before they're, at full health again. So it doesn't really matter if they're in red hit points. They're not like Corruptors. Look, they're already, in orange health right now. It's totally fine. It's just difficult if you're, being pushed constantly. At some point, you don't really have the time to wait, right? Anyways, oof. I think a couple of banelings once again rolled by here. Hatchery running dangerously low, but only 6 more drones ended up going down. Look at the workers lost, actually. This is crazy. Okay. Couple of roaches tunneled underground. On this particular map, it's hard to actually see. Only 1 Hydra apparently defending this base. That means a couple more drones once again end up going down. Banelings, I think they're heading towards maybe the bottom right or maybe the third base. It doesn't really matter. Once again, okay, we do have a 4 split right here with the parasitic bombs, but it looks like that one was also pretty decent. Yeah, there's a lot of roaches out though, and these roaches can really wreak havoc, especially when the mutas are on the other side of the map. They can pick off mineral lines with these good upgrades very, very easily. I think the banelings, by the way, didn't really get a whole lot done, but these roaches now in the top left. Yep. I mean, they could even kill the hatchery. These are well upgraded roaches. They deal a lot of damage. Here comes the Zerg army once again, though. This time around, okay, this is the ultimate composition that I was talking about. Hydra Lurker Viper. He doesn't have the ranged upgrade for the Lurkers yet, but, I mean, basically, the Zerglings and Banelings will be absolutely demolished by Lurkers, obviously, right? Like, they have little health, and if they can't actually close the distance to fight these Hydras head-on, yeah, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. That being said, it's only a handful of lurkers right now. It looks like Reynor has decided to go for the full-on counterattack. He's going to be able to pick up a bunch of roaches here for free in the top right while simultaneously running by with Zerglings in the bottom right. There's a couple of lurkers here defending these different locations. Hydras will be able to pick up the base in the top left. Great defense right here, though, by Serral. I think that most of these links, indeed, will be forced to go back home. He did get a couple of worker kills there, which is nice. But the real question is he going to be able, Reynor that is, stop this massive Zerg army right now from Serral? Serral's moving up towards the high ground, getting those lurkers in pretty good positions as well. I love the way that he's doing that. It's kind of like moving around siege tanks, you know? You don't really want to have them all at once. And apparently Reynor's looked at this army here from the red player. He's like, I can't fight that. I'm going to try and see if I can pick up reinforcements instead, which is a bit of a disaster. He does still have a lot of spine crawlers over here. It's not something you really want to fight very easily. Apparently there's no overseer, though, with this army, so those roaches will be able to live for a little bit longer. If Reynor can get a big detonation with banelings on the opponent's hydras, he can clean everything else up with the mutas by themselves. Okay, in the speed up circle, those banes are gonna have a much easier time getting close to the target. There's one parasitic bomb, though. Very nice splitting there by the Italian Stallion, but now all of a sudden we have a lot more parasitic bombs happening. Roaches and Ravagers and apparently a couple of Lurkers and Hydras are fighting the spines as well, and by the time that these mutas finally were taken care of, oh my god, is he actually still defending this? That's nuts. Okay, yeah. He does have enough, I think, to eventually clean this up, but you can see the supply counts have absolutely plummeted. Beautiful moves right there by Serral. Really showing us how it's supposed to be done, but also how ridiculously close that was, right? So even though Reynor did a good job right there keeping most of those mutas alive, by the time that he was done splitting, the spine crawlers were already gone, right? And you really want to try and fight everything at once. Essentially what Serral did there was force the opponent to back off, kill half the army at a time, and then the other half came in, and obviously that was, yeah, not really a situation that you want to be in. Awesome game. Hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. But for now, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.